Hello everyone, it's Becky here and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a new video. Today we are doing the Mid-Year Freakout Booktag, and although I know I'm quite late because I think people are doing this mostly at the beginning of June, I am filming this at the beginning of July, and because I have a couple videos pre-scheduled already, I think I might be quite late, but never mind. I really like watching other people doing this tag because I think it's great to see the review of their half of a year. So I was very excited to do this, and unfortunately I forgot to check who did this originally, but if I find it I will link it to the description down below. And I was very kindly tagged by lovely Lady Jane in the comments, but that still counts. So without further ado, I will just tackle the questions because they are very interesting. So the first question said, the best book you read so far in 2022. Well, I would say I have two books and they both are non-fiction actually. Let me put my tea down. So the first book I read and I really loved is this one. It's called The Meaning in the Making by Sean Tucker, and this is a book of which I made a separated book review and I will link it to the description as well. And this is a book about art and creativity. Sean Tucker is a photographer and this is his first and hopefully not last book, in which he describes people's relationship to art and creativity and why people still want to create new things and why is it important, although you maybe not do it as your your job or occupation full-time, but still how much joy it can bring to people around you and also to yourself. And he has very interesting ideas and discussion about basically what does it mean to be successful in art, or even I think it gives you very good advice if you are, for example, doing a YouTube channel, for example, or Booktube, and how to perceive your subscribers numbers, for example, and kind of have the healthy mindset about all of this and about numbers and not focus clearly on that. And I just found it very interesting, and I think that if you are at least a little bit interested in photography or anything creative you do, really it might be painting or photography or writing or creating videos or filmmaking, just anything to do with art or even sculpturing, I would highly recommend you to give it a go. Also, a great thing about this book is that you have the QR codes which you can scan and it will show you the pictures of the ones he is talking about in the book, his work or something else. So it's very interesting. And the second book which I absolutely loved was another non-fiction book called I May Be Wrong by Bjorn Natthiko-Lindeblad. I believe that's how you pronounce the name, but I apologize if I did it incorrectly. This is a book, it's an autobiography about Bjorn, who was born in Sweden, and he was from very loving and supportive family, and he had started very successful career in, I believe it was like business, economy, money, financing and these sort of things, but he suddenly ended up to be a forest monk, which is something very interesting and very amazing. And he describes his whole journey about how and why he actually had this calling and why he decided to follow it and everything that happened in between, and also while he was a forest monk and also after that. And it's a very beautiful book. Unfortunately, Bjorn, he is not with us anymore. He passed away last year or 2 years ago, I'm not quite sure very much. This book is actually quite new, and I came across this for the first time when I was listening to the podcast with Fern Cotton, which is my favorite podcast, called Happy Place, and she had Bjorn there as her guest, and he was also talking about writing this book and about how he is very much aware that by the time the book will be published he will not be alive anymore. So it's incredible experience of reading this book, and I would highly recommend you to give it a go. You don't really have to be religious, although I think it gives you very lovely point of views on life and death and just living in general, but you really don't need to be religious, and I would highly recommend you to pick this up, whoever you are, because it's very lovely and it will give you a lot of value, I would say, when reading this. Right, question number 2, the best sequel you read so far in 2022. I haven't read any because I don't think I read any sequel, but I just finished a book called The Henna Artist, and I'm aware that there should be another part of this book sequel, so I'm very excited about that one. I read Henna Artist as buddy read with lovely Deborah from Booking with Deborah. We just finished it quite recently actually, by the time I'm recording this, and it's absolutely great book, so I would love to read sequel for that one. Right, question number 3, new release you haven't read yet but want to. That would be this one, which again I showed you once before, and it's called The Anatomy, the Love Story, which is the book I purchased for my name day. And I'm very excited about this one because it's historical fiction, a little bit like gothic vibes, set in Edinburgh, so I cannot wait. About a woman who wants to be surgeon, and Yeah, I'm reading so many books right now at the same time that I'm really struggling, but all I can think of is how much I want to read this book, but I'm like, you cannot start another one. So this is waiting still, but soon. Question number 4, the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I do not follow new releases, so I have no idea, honestly. Question number 5, the biggest disappointment. Right, here it would be Norwegian Wood by Murakami, and it was a really big disappointment for me because I read one book by Murakami before and I absolutely loved the writing style, and I was hoping that I would love all of his books, but I started with Norwegian Wood, which was also a buddy read with Ray from Ray of Sunlight. Highly recommend you to check out her channel. She also made a wrap up about this book because she finished it. I didn't. I DNF'd the book because more and more I was reading it, the more I felt like this is really not for me, and I kind of even disagreed with some thoughts or opinion maybe which were somehow portrayed in the book. And yeah, I just DNF'd it. I was really disappointed, but I'm definitely hoping to pick up another Murakami again. Maybe if you have a recommendation, you can tell me, because I do not want to, you know, just put him aside because of one book, but I think I'll take my time and do maybe a little bit of research of what kind of books he has and what can I really like. So yeah, Norwegian Wood. Okay, question number 6, the biggest surprise. I would say I have 2 here again, and the first one would be The Ocean at the End of the Lane, which I had as a buddy read again, and this is a book which I did enjoy, but with Neil Gaiman I have this very strange relationship because I do want to love him so much, but I just can't. I think he is a genius when it comes to thinking about, you know, stories and creating the ideas and stories, and I do love when I read what is the book about or what is the story about. I'm like, oh my god, this sounds amazing, but then when I start to read the book, I'm always disappointed, and I'm so sorry. I don't really know what is it, if it's the writing style or the way it's written, or maybe because it's always a little bit creepy and I don't like horror and creepy stuff, so it might be. I'm not saying he is a bad author. As I said, I do love his ideas and, you know, his work, but it's always a struggle for me to read the book and enjoy it for 100%. So that is always a little bit surprising. And then for me, another one would be Mary Ann, which I had as audiobook, and Mary Ann for me was absolutely bizarre experience because this is a book written by my most favorite author of all time, Daphne du Maurier, and I know she could not do anything wrong with this book, but for some reason I was listening to this, and after 5 or 6 hours I realized I have absolutely no clue what is the book about, who are these people, who is the main character, what is happening, what is going on. So I decided to put it aside for a while, not DNF, because I would never DNF a book by Daphne du Maurier, but I just think I need to take a little bit of time and then start all over again once I'm maybe not reading like 70 books at the time. So yeah, but that was really surprising for me because I never expected to not finish the book by Daphne du Maurier, but we'll see. Okie doke. Question number 7. Favorite new author, debut or new to you? So I did read Nature of Witches with Rosika from Midnight Reader, and this was a debut novel, and I really did enjoy the book, but in the same time we agreed with Rosika that you can see that this is a debut novel, which is not a bad thing because obviously everyone needs to start somehow, but still we both say that we can see the potential in the author and we do like her writing style and also her ideas. So I'm very excited to see what she comes up with next, and I think that now in August there should be a sequel to this book even, or her second book. I'm not quite sure if it's the second part, but we do want to read it with Rosika again, and I'm very excited about that. Right. Favorite new author? No, I just mentioned this. Okay, the newest fictional crush. I don't think I have one when it comes to books, but have you seen Austin Butler playing young Elvis? That's all I'm gonna say. Check it out. Watch Elvis, it's an amazing movie. I was to see it in the cinema a couple weeks ago and good. Right, 9. Newest favorite character. I think I actually have 2, and the one would be Kokoro from The Lonely Castle in the Mirror. This is a book which I purchased for my 1-year Booktube anniversary because I love the cover and I heard people praising this book, and I would say that Kokoro is one person which I really relate to on few different levels. So I would say this one, and then also Lakshmi, the main character of Henna Artist, because she She is such a strong woman that it's amazing, like everything she's been through, and she still would be thinking about other people and not herself, and putting everyone else first, especially her sister, who she has very complicated relationship with. But I do not want to do a wrap-up and review of this book yet. I will do a wrap-up video, but yeah, Lakshmi from Henna Artist and Kokoro. Question number 10, book that made you cry. This one, Watering the Soul, which is another book I purchased for my name day, and this is another collection of poetry by Courtney Peppernell, who is absolutely amazing, wonderful, stunning author and person. I love her previous collection called Pillow Thoughts, which I've been praising here for ages, and please, 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 please go check it out, support the author, get the books, because it's wonderful. I never met anyone who would be describing love so beautifully, even painfully sometimes, but so beautifully as she does, whether it's, you know, love as a romantic one, love as a friendship, or love to yourself. And this book is mostly about healing. And I just love it so much. And yeah, a couple of tears has been shed here. So definitely Watering the Soul. Question number 11, the book that made you happy, and here I need to read the title because it's way too long for me, and it's called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse. And I think that everyone who read this book, and I know that many people read this year or even before, they said that it's just very much warm feeling in your heart, which it's, you know, with this book. So definitely that one. Question number 12, the most beautiful book you bought so far this year or received, and I would say The Lonely Castle in the Mirror, Anatomy, the Love Story, because maybe you noticed I have a thing for pinkish covers. So these two, and then Watering the Soul as well, because I mean, look at this baby. And the last question, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? End of the month. Honestly, I mean, right now I think I'm reading like 6 books, and it's absolutely crazy because I'm not great with bookish commitments. Like I try to keep up with all of them, but it's just I was way too excited for buddy reads, which I'm still happy about because so many of you wanted to read with me, and I'm so happy. But then also some read-alongs came along, and then my other books which I wanted to read, and yeah, it's just way too much. But I am enjoying it, but I'm hoping that after this, once I finish all of these, I could at least try to go and read just 1 book a time. That would be amazing. So we'll see how that goes. Right, my friends, this is it. All the questions from the Mid-Year Freakout Booktag, that's the name. I'm not gonna tag anyone because, as I said, I believe that I'm probably the last person this year who is doing this tag. But if you haven't, consider yourself tag and do it, please, because I would love to hear your answers, because this is a really great tag. And without further ado, I will just say bye. Hopefully you have a lovely day, take care, and I will see you with another video very soon. Bye!